standing right. We should always be doing that. But the real crux of the light of Iman, it comes when you make dua, when you pray. There's an amazing story about Malik ibn Dinar. Way back in Basra, a long time ago, third generation Muslim. That means his teacher studied under the Sahabi. Who was his teacher? Hassan al-Basri, who was raised in the house of Salama, wife of the Prophet ﷺ. Hassan al-Basri's mom was a servant. She used to work, do chores for Salama. Okay? When she had a baby and she needed to work, she was a poor woman. So the wife of the Prophet, Salama, said, "Give me the baby. I'll take the baby. I'll raise the baby. At night you pick him up." So she basically offered herself for babysitting, essentially, for this baby. And that baby became Hassan al-Basri. No wonder he became Hassan al-Basri when the wife of the Prophet, Salama, basically is his caretaker, right? Took kindergarten and pre-K in the household of Salama. When he grew up, she sent him off to be around Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib and Hassan and Hussein and Muhammad ibn Hanafiya and those Sahaba that were in Kufa. He never met the Prophet. Well, his disciple was Malik ibn Dinar. Now, Malik ibn Dinar, something special about him, for all of his youth, was a complete sinner. He was a cop for the Umayyad dynasty, and he was a drinker. He used to drink. No woman would marry him. No family. The fathers, when he would go propose for marriage, they all reject him. Okay. When it came time for him to marry, the only person he could marry was a prostitute, and he married her, and she stopped being a prostitute, and they got married. Okay. His daughter died. He had a famous story. He turned his life around, and he became a disciple of Hassan al-Basri. When this happened, what he ended up doing is that he had a neighbor. He became the imam after Hassan al-Basri died. The neighbor came to complain to him and said to him, "My daughter has died." Now this daughter was very unique. The neighbor of Hassan al-Basri, her daughter was said to be the prettiest woman in all of Basra. The prettiest woman in all of Basra. All right? She died. She was not a good person. She used to misuse the gifts of beauty that Allah gave her. So when her mother buried her, or after the burial, she saw her daughter in a dream, and this is very common. It's very common. You're going to see people in dreams. Okay, I hope the battery doesn't die because I love this topic. My phone battery is about to die, unfortunately. But we'll go until it dies. She saw her daughter in a dream, being punished, right? Being punished, being tortured, in a pit of darkness and fire. She was so upset, she went to Hassan al-Basri, to Malik ibn Dinar. Malik ibn Dinar said, "Go and pray tahajjud every night and make dua for her." So the mother did that. A few nights later, Malik ibn Dinar sees a dream, because sometimes you can see dreams for other people. He saw a castle in paradise that was his. He knew in his heart that it's his. He goes in and he looks inside and he finds that girl wearing a crown of gold and sitting on a throne. Okay? And he said, "What happened? We saw you in a pit of fire." She said, "A man came to the graveyard and he recited 1,000 salawat on the Messenger, peace be upon him. And he said, 'Oh Allah, distribute this reward of this to anyone who needs it in the graveyard.' And he left. And she said that it fell onto my grave. So in other words, the dua caused her forgiveness. It caused this man to come in and bring this light and put out the punishment that she was facing. Because that's what dua does. And when the Prophet ﷺ said, "Nothing will benefit you except a good child," because the word walad in Arabic could be the boy or the girl, a good child that prays for him, he said a good child that prays for him, that's what benefits you in the afterlife, because mostly, in most cases, that's who prays for people, their children. But it means anybody who prays for them. This man, he had basically made a dua for them and sent this reward of salawat on the Prophet ﷺ, and he said that